Welcome to the M6P versus the MCU. I'm Jared, along with Darrin, Tim, and Nick, and we're going to be discussing Secret Invasion Episode 3 and giving a little bit of a recap through Episode 1 and 2. Darrin, kick us off, man.
Oh, wow. So we're going to try to speed things up because we all tend to talk a lot of M6P contributors. So, wow, we're going to ultimately focus on the last two episodes overall, but we got to say something short and sweet about each one. We'll go ahead with Episode 2. Thoughts? I liked Olivia Cole. Okay, first off, overall, I still think this series is fairly. But I liked Olivia Colman a lot better in Episode 2. Mainly because of the scene with her interrogating the scroll. That was great. Yeah. Well, that's probably one of the few things I liked about that episode, to be honest with you. And then so we'll go ahead and go with overall, that was a pretty bland episode, but I like that scene. Episode 3, thoughts real quick. The graphic scene was pretty much a cool scene in that show. The talk with him and Talos, the parlay. I was like, ooh, they're building up something dramatic here. And they're both great actors, but that scene wasn't very good until they all he tried to got mad at him. Talos did, and then they all changed into the Skrulls, which we already saw in the trailer, so that kind of let me down. But it was still pretty cool to see. That was the best part of that show, and now we know why they used it in the trailer. Also, Rhodey. Wow. Okay. Nobody calls me by my first name, or nobody calls me Nick Rob. And then guess who called him Nick in Episode 2? Rhodey. And guess who shows up at the end talking to Nick Fury's alien wife? Rhodey. That's all I got. All right, that was fast, right?
Is anybody else getting Micro Machine Man feel from Darrin?
I think I nailed it.
I get it, yeah.
He sounds like a tobacco auctioneer or something. He's really, he's going really fast.
One more thing, Gravik. Finally, okay, so look, in the first episode that we covered, we talked a lot about how, he didn't do, he did stuff, I guess, but he didn't say much, So he's fine. Oh, we get to see the actor who's playing him now. Yeah, he's okay. And I thought he did a good job. At least he's a little more foreboding because he talks. So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on? We'll start with Episode 2. Talk fast.
I think Olivia Wilde stole this. Is that her name? Olivia Wilde? Coleman. Olivia, the chick from The Crown. All these characters are like Daenerys from Game of Thrones is in this, and the Queen is in this. That's who these people are going to be for me. And then the dude from Pulp Fiction. But the Queen was she nailed it. She just nailed it in the meat packing.
Yeah.
That was the best part of Episode 2 for me. The rest was kind of like so this series is kind of giving Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. vibes. I don't know if you guys are picking that at all, because the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I remember when it debuted and we saw superhero toys in the window, and Nick Fury's in it, and the Lola's flying, and we have Coulson and Maria Hill. They're all in the first episode, and it's great. And that's how this first episode was. And then we got to Episode 2 and 3. I don't really care about Fitzsimmons, and I don't care about Agent Ward because I just don't know them. It seems like there's a lot of filler characters I just don't care about with this. So it's really kind of hard for me to be excited Wednesday mornings to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch this so I don't get spoiled. Just So I'm middle ground on this.
Go ahead, Nick.
Somebody else talks.
Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry. Okay, so one, I totally agree with everything that you're saying, because I think that the show has been very disappointing, especially if, we all read the comic Secret Invasion, so completely different, and the stakes nowhere near the same. You had, just A-list characters all the way through on that. And here you have, I'm supposed to care that Maria Hill just died. Who cares? I didn't, and the thing is, the death wasn't good either. It just,
yeah.
But as far as Episode 2, I felt was much better. If I had to pick my favorite moment from Episode 2, it would be when Fury and Talos are doing the the game on the train. I can't remember what is exactly what the game is called because it was
Yeah.
just that memorable of a show, you know. But that game that they're playing, it was like one of those moments where like it was like a character driven moment, which I feel like the 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 character driven moments in the show are just not what they need to be. They're not. You just don't have the same emotion that you need to have for a show like this. You don't have the same. You don't have the same A-list selection of characters. I mean, like roadies are big. Like, oh my gosh, there's roadies in this show. Like that's the big, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but like I also know that how all these MCU shows work is that they go through and have one character that like has a cameo or teeny tiny role, and they're like, hey, you know, they're all connected, and that's like our way that we have to all buy into it. But by episode 3, I did feel like Gravik was a much better villain than he had been prior. I finally felt like he was like a force to be reckoned with. Like the Super Skrulls thing was so exciting. That was like really fun. And they MCU what do they call them? The MCU series are really good about dropping in little Easter eggs for like the real fans, but they usually don't pay off. But if I don't see a Super Skrull in this, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah, I think for episode 2, some of the highlights for me, first of all, when we were introduced to the idea that I mean, Jared and I, going back to Captain Marvel, have been like going back and forth with each other about like how many Skrulls are actually on Earth. Is there only one that's unaccounted for, and then there's another one that's unaccounted for, and then we saw the end of No Way Home, and we're like, oh, there's more than that, and then they called him Nick right here, and they called him, and all that kind of stuff. So we were looking to try to find out how many Skrulls there actually were. Well, then like episode 1 came in, and then there's like Charlie Day with the crazy board that's just like there's like 10,000 of them, and we're like, oh, 10,000, that's a lot. Well, then it even got raised even higher when Fury was talking to Talos, and he goes, there's 1,000,000 of them here. So that what we know is we don't know how many of them are here, and it's a lot. So that's trying to get across with episode 2. There's a lot more of them here than anybody could possibly have imagined. And then the next thing that I thought was very important was Gravik makes it very clear that the Avengers have been infiltrated. And I would, just like Darrin brought up, I would be shocked if it wasn't Rhodey that he was talking about. But then again, he's also talking about in foreshadowing here to episode 3 when he's talking about how now we can not just mimic appearance, we can mimic abilities. So it could literally be anybody. We don't know right now. So that's kind of something that's really interesting. I also definitely liked the scene with Sonya and doing the torture. That was pretty cool. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting with that was, I think that they kind of set that torture scene up as something that kind of bled into episode 3 when Gravik was healing. I thought that was kind of an interesting thing because the Skrulls do not typically heal. We see that now. Okay, they get shot. She cut his finger off. None of that was regenerative, and then all of a sudden he was regenerating. And so is this one of those things that he was talking about with mimicking abilities and changing things? So that's something that I thought was kind of interesting. And then Emilia Clarke, just one of my favorite actresses. I love that she was in this series. I've been wanting to get her in the MCU for a long time. Really wish that they wouldn't have done what they did to her in episode 3, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, ultimately episode 2 had some really important hits. There were a few things that that I'm still waiting on. I think that we all would agree this is more of a this is more of a procedural fact finding kind of drama than it is an action packed drama, and that's something that I think maybe we all are kind of feeling. We were hoping for a little bit more, but that's not to say it won't be backloaded with that kind of stuff. So the one thing about these Disney Plus shows is they're all very genre specific. All right, they picked a genre, they stick with the genre, and the genre isn't for everybody. Sometimes the genre is for you, sometimes the genre is for a completely different crowd. I was not the target crowd for She-Hulk, for example, but they stuck with that genre,
Well,
and they decided that a big green Ally McBeal show is what people wanted to see, and they decided to run with that. That was not what I wanted to see. I despised that show. But once again, it's genre specific, just like this show. And Jared, I think you hit the nail right on the head when you said that this was essentially what they always kind of envisioned Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. being. It was one of those deals where this isn't really Secret Invasion, the storyline that we're familiar with. This is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with the Skrulls as the main antagonist. That's all this really is. And so it's a little different than what I think we were envisioning. And like I said, there's still time for it to get loaded up with the action and the important details and all that kind of stuff. A lot of groundwork has been laid. Very interesting direction that it could go from here.
Wow, lots of good stuff. And we all talked fast. That's good. Yeah, wow. I think we're all on the same page pretty much for the most part. So far, it's still meh for this. Like, I mean, at this point, we all have to finish it. There's only 3 more episodes. But yeah, I liked what you had mentioned, Nick, about the actors and everything. The level of actors that we have, and to your point too, Tim, about having Emil Clark and stuff, like just not like like you got Sam Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Emil Clark. I mean, this is a really solid cast. Don Cheadle. It's just not grabbing. It's not grabbing people. I don't think the way it should be.
I don't think Amelia Clark is dead. I think she
No,
has
I don't either.
gone through
So
the
I don't
machine,
think
and she has powers.
Yeah.
And there is some footage that was released in the first trailer of Amelia Clark that has not been shown yet, and she's standing in the machine. So whether that got cut on the editing floor, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to keep her for 3 episodes. Like, she's a huge star.
when Fury knew the Skrulls could potentially be coming and invading, he told Maria Hill, get the LMDs ready in the comics. LMDs, yeah. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's something I saw. I did a little YouTube research after watching these past 2 episodes. There's a lot of references to the LMDs, basically robots that Nick Fury would plant in place and things like that. Jared, am I saying that right? Even I know the comics, but whatever.
Yeah. I just don't think she's an LMD. I think she's been experimented on, like the Skrulls. Like, I think she's gone through that machine. But I think you're right. Like, we could see the LMDs still show up. The life model decoys, absolutely.
And I'm not. I mean, maybe I'm just jumping. But one of the things that jumped out to me when she was exiting the compound, and when she was trying to go to the little matrix chamber and all that kind of stuff, one of the things that really kind of jumped out to me was, the Skrulls are shapeshifters. Okay, it's entirely possible that that's not her. And so that's something that I was thinking. I was just like, it could have been someone else. I don't know, but yeah, there were a lot of different possibilities. That's the thing about a shapeshifter is. And I know you guys have talked about this before, that it's kind of one of those villains that's kind of like a cop-out, because we don't know how many of them there are, and you might think you've defeated them, but then you haven't. And so, there's always something like that could be a wrinkle in there that they threw in there, because I'm with you guys. It just was kind of a weird thing. Episode 3, it was like, that's all we're going to get of Amelia Clark in the MCU. She was like that top tier name. So, but they've done that in the past, when they signed. I was really thrilled when they signed Sterling K. Brown to be in Black Panther, and then they killed him like right away. Like, that was it. So I don't know.
I think another issue with some of these series is there's a mindset that we have to have 6 episodes, and I would be totally fine if this was 4 episodes. There's a lot of filler in this. When we flash back to New York 1998. We've got Nick Fury. He's outside. It's raining. He opens the door. He comes in. He takes off his hat. He puts his umbrella. He hangs up his coat. She gets coffee. And then we start the scene with the girl. What? Like, there's just a lot of filler. We don't need 6 episodes. Or if you're going to do 6 episodes, don't waste my time. Jared has spoken.
All right. Any other final comments? Also, all right. Talos and Fury. All right, last one. They remind me of Old Grumpy Men, like that movie, kind of in a weird way. I know it's right, like a spy thriller mixed with Old Grumpy Men, and yeah,
It's like they're trying to do their take on Lethal Weapon or something like that.
It's terrible too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely like a buddy cop kind of comedy type thing, and they've got a very interesting dynamic between the two of them because, you get that feeling that they're indebted to each other and they're friends, but do they really even like each other? You know what I mean? It's just like they've got the history together, so they have that relationship. But then they also have that side of them, that we've seen once or twice, where it's just like these guys at their very root can't really stand each other. It's kind of an interesting dynamic, and so yeah, I think that's part of this whole thing that really is kind of confusing everybody right now. Is I think trying to figure out who Talos is and exactly what side he's on. How loyal is he to the Skrulls? How loyal is he to Fury? That's all the stuff that we're going to find out in the next few episodes.
Well, and that's all if you can understand what Ben Mendelsohn is saying. I don't know what he's saying half the time. Like, could he take the marbles out of his mouth?
Yeah.
Like, Jennifer, what did he just say? Huh? I'm turning it up. My grandpa's turning up his hearing aids, but I don't know.
Subtitles, bro. Subtitles.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to. Speak clearly for me.
I will say this is the series that I've had to like rewind and re-listen like more than any of the other series.
He is kind of hard to understand at times, for sure.
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn got old. He got really old all of a sudden. He was he could talk a lot better in Rogue One and all the other character-based actor movies he's played in. All righty, and with that, off to some Marvel trivia.
We're going to start with some Marvel trivia. We've got this sweet Marvel game here from 2001, and each card has 5 questions on it. And if the player picks question 1, they get 1 point. If they pick 5, they get 5 points. First player to 15 points wins. We go alphabetical here at the M6P. So we'll go Darrin, Nick, and then Tim. Darrin, what question would you like?
3.
A 3. What is the name of Spider-Girl? So what's her real name?
Jessica Drew. Yeah. Wait.
It is May Parker or
I
May.
missed that one before. Oh, we're off to a great start. All right.
All right, Nick, what you got, man?
3.
We got a 3 for Nick as well. Who was Hawkeye married to?
Mockingbird.
Mockingbird. Yeah. Yes. All right. Hopefully we don't get a copyright claim for that. Tim.
I'll take a 2.
A 2. Ooh, playing it safe, bro. What country does Dr. Doom rule with an iron fist?
Latveria.
Latveria. All right, Darrin. Time to get on the board, my friend.
I'll go 3.
I have doubled my score from last time. I'm good with that. All right.
3.
3. Darrin's sticking with a 3.
For
What
now.
was Thor's first human identity? Thor's first human identity
Donald
in
Blake?
books. Correct.
Oh, wait,
Nice.
I got it. Wow.
Correct.
I knew that.
How many was that worth?
3.
3.
Oh, he's keeping score too. Good.
Mr. Taylor.
Let's do 3 again.
Okay. What team did Nick Fury lead in World War II?
Howling Commandos.
The Howling Commandos for 3 points. Tim Collins.
It's kind of an easy 3.
Take 2
A
again.
2. Who is one of the first non-mutants to contract the legacy virus?
That's a 2?
Oh, man.
This was hot. This was hot when this game came out.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fair.
Legacy virus was all the rage.
Okay, repeat the question for me real quick.
All right. Who is one of the first non-mutants to contract the legacy virus? Non-mutants to contract the legacy virus.
Non-mutants to contract the legacy virus. Namor?
Moira McTaggart.
I knew that.
Darrin.
I said Senator
Yeah.
Kelly last time. No, go ahead.
Darrin, pick a number.
3.
In what issue did the Red Skull make his first appearance?
Oh,
This was on our last trivia show.
yeah, Captain America #1, right?
Captain America #1.
Well,
It pays kids to watch our
Why you
trivia.
pick the 3s?
All right, Nick.
Let's do 4.
4. This was also on the last episode.
Oh,
What is Cable's full name?
it's driving me nuts.
Man, it's Nathaniel Christopher Dayspring Summers.
Did he get that?
Wow.
That's 4?
Nathaniel Christopher Dayspring Summers.
Wow.
Wow.
I would
Holy
have just
cow,
said
Nick, great
I
job.
would have just said Nathan Summers, but
I wanted to throw in a scanning for some reason too, and I was like, is that in his name or is that not in his name? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, he's got like
Breaker
30.
of Chains, Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, all that stuff.
All right. Tix, what you got, man?
Give me another 2.
2. What young X team is M on?
Is M on?
Yep, that is the character's name, M.
It's a young X team.
You should. I'm disappointed in you.
You should be. It's late. I have no idea, Jared.
Close, Darrin. Generation X.
I was gonna just say X-Force because of my history on this show, but I didn't do it. I'm like, they're not young. It's okay.
Darrin.
3.
Who is an evil clone of Cable?
Oh, wow. I felt.
Who is an evil clone of Nathan Christopher Dayspring Summers?
I'm going to get so mad. I know.
That's a 3?
Oh, come on. Shut.
All right. Your time is up. Do you have a guess?
No.
Name is Strife. Strife. Leader of the Mutant Liberation Front. All right, Nick.
I dropped the ball.
Let's do 4.
Where are you at on points, Nick?
Nick is at 10. You were
Oh,
at.
wow. Oh, man. I better get going. I only got 2.
Yep.
You
2.
have 6
And I am at
minutes,
6.
so let's keep it moving. What is the name of the woman who became the 3rd Captain Marvel? Real name of the 3rd Captain Marvel.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau for 4 points.
Man, he's only 1 away.
All right, Tim. You going
I'll
for
go
a
to-
5?
I'll go to 3. We'll go to
3.
3.
Okay. All right, 3. What device allows Omega Red to survive without draining people's life energy? Oh, that's a 4. Sorry.
Okay. Give me the 3.
It's no easier for you. What is Thunderstrike's real name?
Oh, like I'm gonna know Thunderstrike's real name. Give me a
No.
break.
Eric Kevin Masterson.
Uh,
Household
No.
name, man.
I wouldn't have known that either.
Didn't know. All right, Darrin. What you got, bro?
Still going to go 3.
3? Okay. Got a 3 here. What heroic group is Starhawk an honorary member of? Listen to those key words. What historic group is Starhawk an honorary member of?
The Avengers.
The Avengers.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Love those 3s.
All right, Nick.
Keep rolling with 4.
4? Are you going to win with this question? How many points do you have?
He's got 14.
He's got 14.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who is Blackheart's father?
Oh, we've had this one.
Mephisto?
Mephisto.
Mhm.
We have a winner.
Apparently, we had that
Man,
one
Nick
too.
made quick work of that.
Yeah. Wow.
Thanks for
Didn't
having me,
like the
guys.
last trivia.
And now I hold the 2 lowest score record totals in the show, on 1 point and 2 points.
Tim, yeah, you really just showed up. I appreciate
Ugh.
that. Right.
There's a reason you guys haven't asked me to be on this show in like 2 years. Okay.
Well, if you were a subscriber of the Marvelous Box, you'd be getting Executioner Song and Generation X Classic is what you'd be getting.
Wow.
Nick,
Thanks,
congratulations, man.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks
That's
for making
great.
a short work of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
He
All
McVickered
day's
us,
work.
man.
And he did it in a sling. Let's not forget that. You guys had both your arms.
He literally beat us with one arm tied behind his back.
Guys are gonna make me blush. It's-
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the M6P versus the MCU. Until next time, make yours the M6P.